Welcome to TLC Community Credit Union's Bill Pay webinar. During this webinar, we will cover the following topics: overview, how to access, pay a bill versus manage payments, payees, adding a new payee and editing an existing payee, pay from accounts, editing your default pay from account, editing specific bills, paying by a card, rush payments, history, how to view and print your history, setting up eBills, how and when your account will be debited, pending versus paid, adding comments, and chatting with iPay. If you have questions during the webinar, we encourage you to click on the Ask a Question box on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. And if you're on a mobile device, look for the question bubble icon and click there. You'll then be able to enter your question in the Ask a Question box and click on the arrow to submit your question. I'll now turn it over to Mike from our eBranch, who will begin our online banking bill pay webinar presentation.
Hi there, this is Mike Walter from our eBranch, one of our 4 people up here working in the eBranch. As Lillian stated, we're going to go over a lot of different bill pay functionality, where to find everything, how to do everything. My focus is going to be on the online banking side of it, using a browser, using your computer, using a browser in your tablet, that sort of stuff. And then Janet later is going to go over some of the differences between that and how to do it on your mobile device. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. Right on the left-hand side here, you will see payments. So you'll click on payments and that will take you everywhere that you need to go. And that should take you right in there. And if you have not enrolled before, a little message will pop up and it'll show you, are you sure you want to enroll? And you'll click enroll if you haven't already. And if you don't want to, you just clicked on it by accident, you just click cancel. Pretty simple from there. So then it takes you to what's called our main menu. So this just gives you an overview of all of our menu options. You have just payments, you have history, which should show all the history of your payments here. You can also search within that right here. If you click on Payees, it will show you all the payees that you have listed here. And again, you can search for your payees right in here as well. This new Payee button is where you'll go to add a payee that you may not have in the system before. And we'll get into a lot more of how to add specific payees later. This is a very simple, I have to type in everything, put in all the information for the payee. This is where you go to do that. I'll explain a much easier way to do that as we go. There's also pay a bill, and there's also manage payments. Now, as we go along, I'm going to show you why this particular button right over here is very important and very great for you to have all the information that you need. And then there's also a calendar down here in case you need to just figure out when that date is that you need to pay. You need to look further ahead. It gives you the option to go forward, or you need to go back to see when you thought something got paid. So this is just the main menu kind of overview for you. First thing I want to focus on is the pay a bill icon here. We're going to go right here, click on pay a bill. And if you see here, it does give you 2 different options. So it gives you single, gives you multiple. We're going to focus on the single aspect right now. All your payees are going to populate right down here. We're going to click on one. Not to click on one, you can literally click anywhere in this box, or you can even click on this caret on the right-hand side. So all that's going to do is pop it open here for you. It's going to ask you which share you'd like this to come from. The default one will show up here. We'll get into how to set the default one later as well. But whatever that you have set as your default account will click here, or will show up here. If you click here, it will give you all of your share options that you have enrolled in bill pay to be able to choose from. This account has basic checking and regular share. We're going to choose the basic checking. And my insurance this month is $10 a month. Lucky me. So I'm typing the amount there. And then you also have this more options button right here. If that's all you need to do, and you need to do it one time and that's it, and you need it to arrive on the 17th, perfect. You're done. You can hit submit. Chances are you need to schedule it on a different day, or you want it to happen more often. You will click on this more options, and you'll see that it populates frequency, when it arrives, It also gives you a really cool little option to put a comment in here. So if you click on frequency, it gives you all of these different options about when you want it to go. Well, we want it to go monthly. I like the 25th as when my payment's due. We're choosing the 25th. You'll see down here that it arrives by the 25th of the month. Let's go ahead and confirm that I want it to arrive by the 25th. Well, do I want it to start this month? Sure, that would work. Let's click on the date. You know what? No, I don't need it to start until next month. So June 25th shows up right there. I would just click on June 25th. It would say when it's going to send it and when it's going to arrive. Say I don't need to schedule it till July. Notice I can't click on the 25th of July because the 25th of July falls on a weekend. So what I would need to do is figure out what would be before that or after that, whichever way you want to pay the bill. You'd figure out what that date is. If that's the first day you're scheduling it, you'd want to go back, click on the frequency again, click on monthly again, and I believe the 23rd would have been a good one for me for the month of July. So let's confirm that. And you'll see I now, in July, can schedule it on the 23rd because it's not on a weekend. So let's go ahead and go back. You can also select when you want it to end. This is a good option for if you have a payment that you know has 48 payments left, or you know I have until December to pay this bill and I want it to stop then. You can pick any of those dates within that date range. You can also type in number of payments that you want it to be, and it'll tell you when it thinks it should stop. So let's select that date here. Confirm, and then it'll say after 48 payments, it's going to stop. More often than not, you're probably just going to select never. You don't want it to end. I always pay insurance. I don't know about you, but insurance comes out of my account every month. So it's probably never going to end. So if we click on add comment, I can say whatever I'd like here. I know this is my car and my car insurance. So Mike's insurance. So I know when I'm looking at these bills, if I end up with the same amounts or I have to pay two different bills for the same vendor, I know which one it is that I'm looking at. So then once I hit save, you'll see it says Mike's insurance right there. It puts the note right on there for me and me alone to see. Then I would just go ahead and submit. Once I've done that, that payment will show up. Now you also have the option to pay multiple payments. This is a really good way that if you're saying, I know I need these bills paid this week. Let's pay auto owners, let's pay consumers, and let's pay DMP communications. You can select what days you want them to pay right in here on the calendar. Again, note Monday through Friday are the only days you can schedule on. Pick the amounts. We're just going to say, lucky me, my bills are super cheap this month. I'm paying $10 on everything. Look at me go. So as you see, I've got all of those amounts typed in, all those dates exactly the way that I want them. There is a review and pay button down here. Now, if you see to the right, it also shows the number of bills that you have scheduled within this screen. Let's just say for some reason, I clicked on DMP, but I don't want to schedule them. So I won't put in an amount for them. You'll see now only 2 show up here. So if I go to review and pay, DMP doesn't show up there anymore. Just the 2 that I actually put in amounts for and confirm dates for. Then it'll show submit payments. So once you click this button, it's going to submit those payments to be paid. Again, it only gives me the 2 that I had there. Well, say I've gotten this far and I realize I don't really want to pay consumers. I want to pay them a different day. There's always the option to go back here, but just for the sake of argument, I'm going to remove them right here, and I really only just want to pay auto owners. Well, then you can just go ahead and submit right there. It shows you only the 1 payment that you're confirming, and it will confirm that payment for you. So we are going to go back, and as you can see as well, if you're looking in Pay a Bill, it will also show you how these payments are going to go. Electronic, check, electronic, check, electronic. It's going to show you all of that. I'm going to show you some tips and tricks on how to try and get things to go the way that you want them to. We'll get into that here momentarily, but I just wanted you to be able to see where you're going to find that information at. All right, let's click back out of here. So there's that pay a bill function, which is great and does a good job of scheduling payments. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I want to focus over here on manage payments. If we click on manage payments over here, I'm going to show you exactly why I really like this screen and why I think this is a lot more functional. It has all of the same information that I just showed you on the previous screen, plus a lot more, all on one screen for us to be able to view. So instead of having to click on my payees to see which way they're going to get paid, all of a sudden it populates right here, shows me right underneath each one how it's going to go. And I can just say, well, again, my auto owners is $10 this month, and the 17th is exactly when I need it paid. All I have to do is come right over here and click pay, and it's all I have to do is hit submit, and it's done. It's very simple. I don't have to pick a whole bunch of different stuff. It's all right there on the same screen for me to be able to see. So I can pick the date there. I can pick the share that I want it to come from, all right here. So I really like this function here. I think this is a great place to be. I like to say that I'd love for all of us to live here while we're doing bill pay, because this is where a lot of the stuff's going to be. But I want to focus on a lot of other really great stuff in manage payments. So again, we've already gone to payments. We've already gone to manage payments. The first thing I want to do is show you how to add a payee. So right up here, plus sign, payee, add a payee, same thing. We're going to click right on that. This is going to give you an option to pay a company or pay a person. If you pay a person, you can put in an account number and actually use the bill pay system to pay another person directly from your bill pay. It's another great option. Right now, we're going to focus on paying a company. So this is where I want to add a payee. I have a Discover card that I need to add in here. I need to make sure that we can get that paid. So I'm going to start typing Discover. If you see, as soon as I start typing, all of these different things populate below here. And lo and behold, there's my Discover card right there. I'm going to click right on that. And then I'm going to click next. Really great trick here is if it starts to populate there and shows something for you to click on underneath there, that means there's a really good chance that our bill pay system has a pre-existing electronic relationship with this vendor. So if you want those payments to go electronically, this is exactly where you're going to want to add them. So I've got my payee name already in there. I'm going to put in my account number. Don't memorize my card number. It's a really easy one. Then off of the bill or the statement that I have, there should be a mailing or billing address that I need to be remitting this payment back to. I happen to have my statement right in front of me, and I can see that I know that Discover Card's payee zip code is just that. Let's go over here and click next. Now it's always wanting to make sure, because it knows it's a credit card, that I want to put in my full 16-digit account number. Well, I have. It also gives me where it does not allow me to change the payee name, change the payee zip code. And when we get into editing payees, I'll show you exactly what that means. Here's a payee nickname. Well, it's Mike's Discover card, because again, I have 2 Discover cards, so I have to make sure I keep them straight. Also allows me to pick, while I'm adding the payee, it allows me to pick the share that I want it to be from. So this is great if you have multiple shares that you want certain things paid from. If you have a vacation fund that you want, you have to pay vacation from, and you want it to come directly out of there, being able to do that is a great option for you. I'm going to keep it out of my checking. I'm keeping it pretty simple on my side of things. And then I just want to make sure that the name on the bill matches what's on my statement. Luckily it does. Then I would just hit submit and my payee would be added. This being populated automatically by just doing that little search function makes me have my payment go electronically. It's as simple as that. We've established an electronic relationship with them, so it will show up electronically for us, which is Wonderful. I like my stuff to go as electronically as possible. But we are going to go back to that main screen. Again, we're in payments, manage payments. Let's show you how to edit a payee. That sounds like fun. Let's click on auto owner's insurance. You will see again the electronic here. Click right on them. Then you click on edit payee. You'll see we have a pre-existing electronic relationship with auto owners. It's not going to allow me to change the name. It's not going to allow me to change the phone number because it knows those two things to be exactly correct. I can change the nickname to whatever I want it to be, just so it reflects what I want it to say. That's on my side of things. You can edit the account number here. Maybe your policy number changed. Maybe there's, a different digit or something you need to add, or you've made a mistake on it and you need to come back and edit it. This is where you'll do that. Again, it also gives you the option to edit the account that it comes out of, or the share that it comes out of, checking, savings. And then also, if there's any issues with the name on the bill, you'll be able to populate that right here. And if you look down here, this is also where you will delete a payee. So if you toggle this little fun button to the right, you will see that it says deleting this payee will stop any scheduled payments. It's important to know in case you have something scheduled further out. Another thing I'd like to point out is to remember, if you delete a payee out of here, it will also delete the history for that payee. So you need to make sure that's something you're comfortable with. Of course, if you've paid them prior, the history will always be on your account, be in your statements, be in your transactions. However, if you're looking for specific history on the payee, deleting it will erase that information for them. So just something to kind of keep in mind. So then I don't want to delete them. I still have to pay my insurance, so I'm not going to. Let's go ahead and cancel out of that. That's a really great way to edit. I also want to show you the difference. Back here to return to payments takes me right back to that manage payments screen. I'd like to show you one that I manually input. I manually input Johnny Lawnmower because that's not one that has been in the database before. So I had to put this one in myself. So I click right on Johnny Lawnmower, click on that edit payee, and you will see that I can actually change all of the information, including their name, including their phone number. I can change all of that information in here. Again, this is one that I put in myself, so I'm able to edit all that information. This is a really, really good thing if a company changes their name, changes their phone number, or they move addresses. Some of those more local companies might get a different office. This is a great place to do that. Again, you really want to verify, though, that you have the correct address from your bill, statement, whatever that your invoice, whatever they send you that they say they want you to remit payment to. Because if it's going to go this way and it's going to go by check, you want to make sure it arrives at the right destination. So sometimes just verifying it off of that information, or even calling the vendor directly to make sure you're getting it mailed to the right spot, is a great way to make sure that your payment gets there when it's supposed to. So another thing that can happen is there can be errors that pop up when you're entering in a payee. And sometimes that'll happen when you've entered an incorrect zip code, or it doesn't recognize a street. So again, just using that to verify that information is very important. So we are in the payments, manage payment screen. As I've said, I've shown you how to schedule, shown you how to do that. I'm also want to show you how to schedule it. We are going to pay it $10 on the 17th. We are going to submit it. That thing is ready to go. We're going to close right out of that. Now you'll see it slides right over here to the pending. All I want to do is, I just don't want that to go yet. I'm going to go over here and edit it. We're going to get it out of here. Click right on edit. You can see I just put that in, but I really don't want it to go. I want to stop this payment. That's the same thing as canceling it. We're going to go ahead and do that. And we are going to stop that payment from happening because, well, I got a little trigger happy and I clicked the button too fast. So let's go ahead and go back. And now we have canceled that. Now that's a pretty simple way of doing it. We also, it went up. So I need to pay $20 instead of $10. That's the real reason I needed to cancel it. So I can also click right up here where it says make it recurring. I know I have to pay my insurance every month. My insurance premium went up from 10 bucks to 20 bucks. So we are going to make it a recurring payment. So you want to obviously make sure that all the information is in there correctly. It's going to ask for the address again, the city again, the state again, zip code again. It's just verifying that all that information is correct. Then you can say how often you want it to go down here, on what day you want it to go. Let's just say we're going to pick that 25th again. We really like that day. So then, but I don't need it to go for a couple months. I don't need it to go till July. So instead of having to go out, come back in, figure out what day I need to pay it from, this function will give me, okay, I know I need to pay it July 25th. Well, it's saying good way to do that, pay it on July 23rd. That's when it'll get started. It gives you the option yourself of exactly when it's going to go out and to make it there on the date that you're asking for, instead of you having to look at a calendar and figure it out. It also gives you the option to say if this payment series is going to end. And the nice thing I like about this as well is it gives you the payment cutoff time. Payments have to be in by 2 p.m. on a day in order to go out on the next day that you're asking for it to go out. If it's after that, it will default to the next business day. So just keep that in mind when you're scheduling bills. Also, if you need to cancel something, making sure to cancel it prior to that 2 p.m. cutoff is a great way to do it. We're going to go back now that we've shown you all that. And I'm going to click on auto owners again because I just want to add a reminder. I want to remind myself to pay this thing. So click right on that reminders. I'll show it to you again. I clicked on it kind of quick. Add reminder right here. There was that edit payee function. There's the add reminder. We're going to click right here. And I can ask how I want it. Do I want it emailed to me? Sure, let's do that. And we'll say every month I want it emailed on, well, I got to pay it on the 25th. So let's just let myself know a week ahead of time that I want it paid. And then I could put a comment on here, say, pay your bill. You know, just going to remind me to pay it, remind me to do it. So then we would do that and just hit submit. And it successfully added the reminder for us. Fantastic. So next thing I want to show you is a really cool feature. I set this up already, and I'll show you how to get there when I go to the next portion of our display. But I added this function in here just for me to be able to click on it. You can put in a debit card, credit card, it doesn't have to be TLC. You can put in something there to pay your bill directly to one of your payees or vendors this way. So if I were to, once you've done so and you've added it, you can click on pay by card. This function right here will go away. It will have you'll be able to add, you'll have already added your card. So what it'll do is it'll give you the option to link right to auto owner's insurance to be able to type in your login credentials and pay the bill right there with your debit or credit card, whether it's us or somebody else. My Discover card, I want to pay, I want to pay with my Discover card on this. I can do that right here as well. And then it'll allow me to log in using my auto owner's login credentials and then pay my bill directly right there. So to add those, I want to show you how to do default accounts, and I'll also show you how to add a card as well. So right at the top, again, we're in payments, manage payments. Just like to reiterate where we are. My account right here at the top. First, we're going to talk about the add card because we just finished talking about that. So if I want to add a card, I'll just click right here. It'll ask for the name on the card number, expiration date, CVV, zip code. Once I hit submit, I'll be able to use that card as a method of payment. And we're going to get back out of that. Now I want to go to view accounts because this is where I want to look at all the ones that I have set up for bill pay. So right now I have basic checking and regular share enrolled. As you can see right up here on the right hand side, I have basic checking set up as my default. That means every bill I schedule, the first option that's going to be given to me is going to be my checking. But let's just say I like paying bills out of my savings. Let's go ahead and click on edit. Edit next to the regular share. I can set as my default pay from account and just hit submit. Just as simple as that. But I don't know about you, but I don't really pay anything out of my savings. If I do, I'm paying stuff out of my checking and moving it from my savings. So maybe deleting pay from account as my savings is a good option for me because I really do like to pay my bills from my checking. This doesn't do anything else to the rest of your account or do anything else at all. All this does is remove savings as an option for me to be able to use in bill pay. If you've set something up prior, it will warn you at the top that all pending transactions associated with this pay from account will be stopped if this pay from account is deleted. So anything you've had set up from your regular share, if you were to delete your regular share, will also be canceled as a result. So remembering that, making sure everything that you have scheduled is scheduled the way you want it to before you delete it is definitely a good option for you. So we are going to cancel out of that. We're going to go back to payments. Pretty simple functionality just to go right from my account to payments here. Now, if you look here, there's also pending and history on the right-hand side. That's pretty great. Pending is anything that is scheduled to be paid in the next 45 days. So anything you have set up going forward, you saw my example with me scheduling auto owners for the 17th. You saw that show up in the pending. History is anything that has been sent in the last 45 days. And so what I mean by sent is it's been processed for payment. So if you process this through today and you have an electronic one set up tomorrow at 2 o'clock, it'll move from pending to history because it's saying it's paid. It's sent the file to pay the bill. Same thing for checking. You may see a check payment in your history before it's come out of your account. That just means that we have sent the file for our bill pay processing to send the check and get it sent in the mail for us. So it doesn't necessarily mean it's been paid and out of your account. It just means that we have sent that. So I want to go back to show you, if you click on view more on either of these, it's going to show you all the history, all the pending within that. If you click on view more in history, what it's going to do is at the very bottom, it's going to give you a link to say, click here for history prior to 2/17. So if you had something history, if you'd use bill pay prior to this new changeover, it's going to be able to click a simple link there that's going to populate your bill pay history prior to that date for you. You'll also see at the top here that there gives you the option to set up an e-bill. So once you put in a vendor, if it has the opportunity to connect to send their bill directly to you here, it will do so. So you'll just end up clicking on that bill itself. And then what it'll do is it's going to ask you for your user ID for that website, the password for that website, and then it's going to ask what type of account that is, because it's going to connect your credentials from there to be able to pull your bill directly into your online banking. So you can view your bill here and be able to see how much you need to pay, when you need to pay it. It's a one-stop shop to say it's right here for us. So we've gone over all of this. We've gone over how a bill is going to be paid here. There's been a couple of questions regarding when the account's debited, when it's pending versus when it's paid. I've covered a little bit of the pending versus paid. Again, once it's sent, the file has been sent. That means it switches from pending to paid. It will not process out of your account until the vendor has physically processed the payment. So for an electronic payment, typically the file's sent, as you see, 2 p.m. is when the cutoff is. Files sent that night. Typically, the electronic payment is available for that next day. Vendor typically processes it sometime in the morning on the next day. That's when you'll usually see that process out of your account. Bill pay checks work exactly like how if you were to write a personal check. It's going to say paid in your history. That just means we're starting to get the check ready to send, and then we've sent it and it's been delivered where it needs to go. But say I'd sent that check to be delivered on the 19th for Johnny Lawnmower down here. Well, and it gets to him on the 19th. But if Johnny Lawnmower doesn't go to his bank to cash the check until the 22nd, I'm not going to have that money out of my account until the 22nd. So it is wholly dependent on when the vendor processes the check. One of the really cool features I want to show you in here is there is a message and a chat now function that I'd like to kind of expound upon. This will give you direct access to iPay, who is our bill pay vendor. This is a messaging system with them. This is a chat now feature with them. So if you have a Johnny Lawnmower who you want to have go electronically, Johnny Lawnmower says he accepts electronic payments, and he'd prefer us to try and do that. But it still shows up as check here. You can come right over here to the left where Leslie and Rachel showed you last week and click on messages. That's going to come right to the four of us here at the eBranch. And you just say, hey, I talked with Johnny Lawnmower, and he said they accept electronic payments, but it's still wanting to go by check. Is there anything you can do to help us? What we would do is submit what they call a payee change request. And we would ask iPay to contact Johnny Lawnmower to try and see if we can set up an electronic payment for you. Once iPay receives it, takes their 1 to 2 business days to process it, figure out if they can do that. They will actually message you back directly here in this messages. You will get a response straight from iPay to say, absolutely, we can do that, or no, still can't do it. If for whatever reason it's not working, and they'll typically tell you why they aren't able to set it up. If you don't understand what this chat is or what this message is about, you can certainly chat now right here with them and ask them, well, they said they can do it. Why can't we set it up? iPay would give you an explanation on their end as to why maybe their side they aren't able to do that. This is also a good way if you need to change something about a vendor that you just can't get to. We need to do an address change or something. You can also you'll be looking for those responses back here as well. There's also a help function over here as well. So if you have questions about anything, they have a kind of an FAQs kind of situation in here. You can always click on here and they'll walk you through a lot of questions that get asked often. Or if you click on the chat now and you have a question about a payment or a vendor, this will take you directly to iPay themselves. So with that being said, that's kind of what my function was today, was to go ahead and show you that side of things. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Janet, who is going to show you a lot about the mobile side of things, and we will get her showing you some of the similarities, some of the differences, and just get you squared away as far as that goes. So,
hi, my name is Janet. I am the 4th member of the eBranch. I have been with TLC for a little over 2 years now, and I am also fluent in Spanish, so I'm always here to help anybody who is struggling with their English and just needs a little bit more help and they're more comfortable with Spanish. I'm always available to help. So I am going to be presenting or showing you how to use the mobile app on either a smartphone or a tablet or iPad. So I will be sharing my screen. When you're accessing it through the app, it does require your 4-digit code to get into it. Once you're into the account, you're going to see the main screen here, and you'll see a little icon here that says Pay. This is one of the ways to access the bill pay part. If you just click on it, it'll take you straight into bill pay on the mobile app. If you go back and you click on the 3 top little lines at the left-hand corner, it'll pull up your dashboard, and you also go into payments. Now, this is just like a quick, easy access because it is very limited. You won't have manage payments on here. You won't have access to messages or the chat now feature. You also can't add the debit card or credit cards from another bank or company, as Mike previously explained. So if you just need to make a quick payment and you're on the go and you forgot to do it while you were at home, you can just select one of your payees. And if you click on the little arrow, it'll take you right to that payment, and you'll select make a payment. It will also show you that this is an electronic payment, and you're also able to call them directly if you have a question about what your bill is going to be. So if you just click on make a payment, it'll take you to where you make the payment. It'll show you that your default account is your checking, and then you'll enter in your amount. So let's just say we're going to do the $10. You see right here on the left-hand side where you'll see more options. Here's where you can change the date and add a comment just like you could on the desktop version. So we'll just put Janet's insurance, if I can spell correctly. And then you'll just hit save, and it'll show up on the screen for you. And before you submit, you will see here that it does say delivers electronically for you as well. So we're just going to go ahead and cancel that. It should take you back to your Payee screen. If you do need to add a Payee, you are also able to do that from the app, and you will have to enter in your passcode. So I'm just going to type in my password. You'll be able to enter in all the information. So let's say you want to add your Discover card on here. So you'll just enter in Discover, and you do want to make sure that you have all the correct information, because unlike the desktop version under manage payments, if you start in the search bar, start typing Discover, it'll show it and it'll be listed for you. On the app, that's not an option. So again, you'll just want to make sure you're following everything that's on your bill or statement that's in front of you. And since we have several Discover cards, I'm going to just nickname it Janet's Discover, just so I know which one it is. And then again, you'll enter in their phone number, and you'll again want to make sure you have all that information right in front of you. Because if you enter in anything incorrectly, it's not going to go through for you. And then when it asks for the account number, typically with credit card, it's going to be that 16-digit number that is listed on the card for you. So we're just going to go ahead and type that in. And then here's where you'll enter in all the mailing information. You again will just want to follow whatever's on the bill in front of you. So I'm just going to type in all that information. We'll enter in the city, the state, and then the zip code. And we're not in Alabama, we want Illinois. And then we'll enter in the zip code. It says, oops, something went wrong. So that means that I have entered in something incorrectly. So you'll want to go back in and verify that you have everything correct, because like I said, unlike in managed payments, this information has to be correct, because managed payments, since we had a previous relationship with them, they already had this information in. If it continues to say something went wrong, then you'll have to just go back in and verify everything that you have. So we're just going to go ahead and back out of this. So if you have another bill that you need to pay and you want consumers energy because you forgot, Here it will list it all again for you, and it will say check payment. So that means that it's going by check. You can make the payment here as well. And again, you'll just follow the same instructions. You'll enter in the information, the amount that you'd like to pay, and more options. You can also choose the frequency if you want it to go by every week, when you want it to end, if you want it to be never, and you want every week you want to pay a small amount, and if you want to put a comment on there, you put, I'll just put Janet's insurance. And then you'll select when you want it to start. So that calendar is also available to you on the app, which is pretty helpful. So then it'll tell you on here, it'll send on May 20th and it'll arrive by May 25th, and you'll select confirm. And then before you hit submit, it will remind you again that it's going to be delivered by check. So again, if you do need to edit anything, let's say like their address changed and you want to update that information and you can't get to a desktop, you can edit it here on the top right-hand corner by selecting edit. And then you again will have to put in your password. I'm just going to type that in. And it will take you to the screen where you can edit all that information. You can also delete a payee from the app as well. If you see that on the top right-hand corner, you should see delete, but that will again delete all the history that you previously had with it. And if you had anything scheduled, that will also be deleted. So you do just want to verify that information. So again, bill pay on the mobile app is very limited. So this is more of just like a quick, easy thing. If you're on the go and you forgot to pay a bill, this is available to you. A lot of the history isn't going to be available, or some of like the managed payments, as I previously stated before. So this is the end of the mobile banking presentation. Mike and I will now answer questions that came through during the presentation. If you have any questions, please send them in using the Ask a Question box on the bottom right side of the screen.
All right, so we'll slide back in here. We're going to take a look at, see what we got here in the Q&A portion of what's going on. Looks like, why do some of the payments come from my savings and some from my checking? It's a great question. So basically, you want to make sure that that default account for all of your payments is set the way you want it to. You always want to double check that each payment is selected from the share you want it to go from. It's very easy if we just got started and we hadn't set a share up as a default, that it might go right to your savings. Therefore, we want to go in. That's where we want to go in and edit those payments. We want to or go in and make sure that we've edited that to come out of the right account. So that's why some of them will come from the savings, some from the checking. You just want to check those default accounts to be able to do that. One question is, how do I make all of my payments come from my checking account? Same thing. You just want to, again, go through and check that you've set your default payment account as your checking account, and that will go ahead and accomplish that for you. Can I pay my landlord using a pay a person? Absolutely. Yep. As long as they're comfortable giving you their account information and letting you send that off to them, you can certainly do that through the pay a person function. That is that's what it's there for. So next question is, does my history show my deleted or edited payments? So it will show if you've edited, but if you've deleted a payment, basically if you deleted a payee, that will be completely gone. If you've stopped a payment, it will still show up as stopped in there for you. But if you've deleted it out, you've also deleted the history that goes along with it. So that's just something to keep in mind. If you're just deleting things out of there, just be careful. Can I rush a payment? Guess what? Mike was supposed to go over that with you. Guess what Mike didn't do? So let's go ahead and go back in, and we're going to show you how to do that. get logged in and I'll share my screen with you.
You are able to rush payments, but there is a separate fee that is applied.
All right, so we are back on our lovely dashboard here. We're going to click on payments. There's that stopped function I was talking about. I knew it'd show up there. There it is. All right, we're going to go back to manage payments. Like I said, this is where we want to live. If we are on the desktop, this is where we want to live. So I love that Johnny Lawnmower is going to pay on the 19th via check, but well, I just needed to get to him sooner. So I'm going to put my $10 in there to Johnny Lawnmower. And then there's these 3 little dots on the right-hand side. If you click right on there, it's going to show rush delivery. You can also add a memo and comment here as well if you have your own thing, comment or memo you want to put on there. But if you click on this rush delivery button, it'll show the amount, the pay from. Of course, it'll show you the default is always what's on top and what's selected there. See, it gives me 2 different options here. It gives me Monday for $19.95 or Tuesday for $14.95. So what I would do is I would just toggle one of those to the right, and then I would just hit next. So what that's going to do is it's going to allow it to get there much faster. We'll put a rush on it. Again, that's what that charge is for, as Janet mentioned. That's going to show up as a separate charge. We don't want you to think you paid Johnny Lawnmower $29.95 when you really only meant to pay him $10. You paid him $10, he got $10. You just had to pay to get it there a little bit quicker. So that's kind of the functionality of that. So let's go ahead and get back out of that. And what else do we have in here? That looks like that completes our Q&A portion. This, just so everyone knows, we will have this recording out next week on our website in our learning center. So I'd be looking for that sometime next week. We also have a really wonderful FAQ section that marketing has worked very diligently and very closely with a lot of us to answer virtually anything that you can think of within the FAQ section. It's broken down by category. It's very wonderful and a great reference tool for you to be able to see some of those answers in real time without having to wait for someone to respond to you or wait on the phone to call us. There's a ton of information in there. So with that being said, really appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I'm really glad that you get to meet us, see some of the faces of the branch, and really hope everyone has a wonderful night. And if you have any other questions, of course, you know where to find us.